I was actually just happy ready for you to talk.
Oh.
But I will ask some questions.
Okay.
But not many. Are you recording?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So excited. I'm here with Pam Slynn, who's the author of Escape from Cubicle Nation. She's also a business coach. And I would just love to ask you, I guess what you find is the number one thing that most entrepreneurs ask you as a business coach to help them with.
Probably the number one thing is which business should I start? And there's a lot of times people get really interested in having an area of passion, but they're not exactly sure how they can make money from the passion. And so it's really developing an idea so you make sure that you have a market for what it is that you're selling. Many times you can have raving fans and followers and people really interested in what you're talking about, but it's not necessarily something that will be a viable business. And so there's really elements of fleshing it out so that you can actually have the idea that it is a viable business, but then also test and try. It's one of the things I'm really pretty passionate about, is that you want to be testing and trying your assumptions and beginning to build your business little by little, not just doing the planning stage with everything hypothetical. Really making sure you're reaching real people and getting real feedback about your products.
And I guess for those people who are on the verge and they've got a ton of ideas and they just don't know what to do next, what would you say is the number one action that they can take to start escaping from their cubicle?
I think it is trying to get clear if they do lay out a bunch of ideas that they're interested in and then pare it back to say, is there one small thing that I could test, and creating a very specific test with a period of time where maybe somebody is a writer, hypothetically, and they might, looking at the person behind the video camera right now, and they might want to write an ebook. And maybe in their big plans, there's all kinds of products and services, but the best thing to do to focus is to, within maybe a 30 to 60 day period, focus on creating an ebook and really doing it well and getting support around it and really, making it tight and testing it. Rather than thinking that you have to make a big leap. It actually makes me quite nervous when I hear people, saying, forget it, I'm just going to quit, I'm going to make a big leap, when I know that they haven't really taken the time, to test and to make sure that there's something there. If they do make that leap, I would hope that they do have quite a bit of savings and that they realize that part of the time they're going to be using is going to be sorting out their business idea, because not everybody feels capable of doing that work when they're working full time. It can be really energy intensive. So I guess that's where I err a little bit on the safe side. Is it's really hard to be working on an idea in the creation stage and to be worried about money, because often you're trying to sell before you're really naturally ready to. So that's, I think, where you want to balance.
And I think you've touched a lot of people's lives, like Liz, who's behind the camera, and I've been reading your blog, and she's also reading your book. What do you think's the main thing for you that you are just so passionate about as a result of the work that you're doing? Like, what really drives you to do this all the time?
What drives me is that when people step into businesses that really reflect who they are and the lives that they want to create,
like we were just talking about.
Yes, like we were just talking about, they become really who they are. And a lot of people are in lives where they are acting in roles that they think they should be in, or they're having to behave a certain way in a company because of what's acceptable and what's expected, and they don't really feel like they're doing what they're meant to do, or they're speaking in their true voice. And that, to me, is the best reason to be an entrepreneur, is that you really do have the choice to be building a business based on who you really are. And that, I think, when people act in that way, they're more compassionate, they're more caring, they're more engaged, and it actually does have a lot of ripples in the world beyond just creating a business. People are more compassionate. They're going to look at the problems and challenges of the world in a different way, and that's what
I think
drives
that
me.
phone call was your calling, whoever's out there watching this, that you need to pick up that phone and go to your true calling. It's very timely. And just another quick question. You have tons of projects on right now, and I think you're incredible in how you juggle them all. And you wrote a blog post the other week, and I think I emailed you because it really touched me, and you said, I've got all these great projects and I'm feeling amazing about them and meeting incredible people, but I just think there's a higher purpose of what I'm wanting to be doing soon. How do you even step out of everything that you're managing and still have that bigger picture view? Like, that to me was really amazing, that on top of all the work, you still were like, yeah, but there's something more. So you're obviously incredible at kind of juggling all your projects? How do you do that?
I
What's
don't
your
know.
trick?
You know, it's to me it's more my inner voice, whatever you want to call it, my muse. It is the one that actually is the guide. I've learned over the course of my life to really listen to it, so to not try to push it down. And it's more, it's a feeling, it's that sense that there is something else that's happening. I can be very engaged in the work that I'm doing, and I always love to be evolving and learning and growing. And sometimes it's very common for entrepreneurs is for the time that it takes to really build up a certain body of work or to really get a business established. Paradoxically, when you do that, is often then when part of you is ready for that next body of work, and yet you still need and want to do some work to get the other part anchored in. So I think from a lifestyle design perspective, you do want to be taking time to step back. I have lots of people in my life who I can have those conversations with. Sometimes you need to build in, if you can, a week or so of quiet where you can just really think about what you want to do in the future, and then you can start to slowly build back so you can still be happy doing what you're doing, but knowing what's next. Otherwise, you can get caught in only doing what you're doing now, and nothing is ever static, and the market's always evolving, and you're always evolving. So that's, I think, where people can get stuck.
Thank you so much for taking up a lot of Pam's time. She's off for a conference, so thank you so much.
My pleasure.